Hello everybody, it's Tim here again. In this box is probably the power supply I ordered for the TS-940. So I'll open it up and we'll take a look at the parts. Of course it's going to be a couple day deal going on here because I want to read the instructions. I don't know what they put as far as instructions go before I start on it, and I'd like to be able to remove that one, the one that's in there, so it's completely reusable again. But with that all being said, let's open up the packaging and see what we got. It came, I ordered it because they were having a sale at the, it was at the end of last month, so that would have been, I think the end of August I ordered it, and it came over the weekend, last weekend, and they even said it was going to be delayed shipping because I don't think that they make tons of these at one time. So let's see. Oh, all right. So here's a set, apparently the instructions. And it's the Compudigital Industries and K6IOK. He's the guy that I think kind of spearheaded this whole thing. And it's got, let's see what all comes in the case here. We'll pull everything out. Another little box. Okay, so here's the fan. I'm sorry, the fan. Yeah, the power supply with a really big fan. Then this is the power supply. It's kind of interesting. I just had the radio on just for no reason other than the fact that I'm just sitting here. In this bag, we'll open it up and see what's in here. And here's a lot of the mounting hardware, it looks like. The wiring, the mounting hardware, and what have you. Have to keep looking back at the camera to make sure that I'm staying somewhat on task here. Alright, so there's that. This fan, there's actually two fans in the 940, and that's what I do want to check and see what the actual direction of spin is. Are they pushing air in or pushing air out or sucking air in? But this one actually this would be mounted in place of the one that's right behind the power supply now, and then they run at a constant speed as opposed to only turning on when they get hot. And these run at a slow speed, but I'm told that keeps the thing cool enough. To tell you the truth on this, I've never had the power supply or the power amplifier fan come on. I don't run it that hard. And this box is, and this will probably take the place of the what they call it, the AVR board, I think. So I'm going to leave it in the ESD bag until I'm ready to take it out. I don't know what all's involved there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that tough to do. I'll look through the instructions, and on top of that, I don't know if I showed this before. It's a battery holder, and I said rather than it's going to go inside on the on one of the boards, it's actually under the speaker. So rather than buy the battery with the tabs on it, because it seems like they're getting harder and harder to get, what I did elsewhere in this was I actually put one of these together and I soldered this in, and then I can change the battery. It's been 3 or 4 years since I did it. It works great, and it's easier to get the batteries without the solder tabs on them. But either way, I still recommend buying name brand batteries because You know, first, you don't want it leaking everywhere. Second, you don't want to have to replace these too often, especially this one because you got to dig for it. But we'll show all that when we do it. That's it for today. Like I said, I want to read through the instructions, and I know that I've actually watched some of the videos on them doing this, and they kind of do it. He does it quick and dirty. I mean, you can tell he's done them before. It probably takes him an hour to do one, but like I said, I want to unsolder everything, try and keep everything as best I can. So that's it for today, and we'll tune in when I get read up on this a little bit. Okay, so we're getting ready to start. I have to take the remainder of the screws off here. But the first thing they tell you to do is power up the power supply, and I'll tune into that. You can see the power supply there off the edge. And then we're going to have the voltmeter right behind it. And I just temporarily, I have a cord made up that I plopped in there. Zoom in a little bit. So let's see. So what I did was, right here, I put the cord in, and it tells you line, neutral, and ground. Line would be black, neutral's white, ground's green. And I keep a cord laying around just like this just for testing things just like this. And coming out of the output, make sure it's still in view. Yep. Coming out of the output, you have plus and minus. Even though it says output 24 volt, I'm assuming that's going to be able to make it to about 28 and a half. What I also recommend is, if you're going to do this, it comes with the handy dandy instructions, but also have on a computer or something nearby Jeff's videos of how to do everything. Gives you some more information. So the first thing we want to do is fire it up and check for the 28 about 28 volt, 28.5 volts is what he actually set it to. So let me get a scrutinizer here, and I'm gonna plug it in, and we'll see what we get. Make sure this is on volts. On volts. Put it to 200. That looks good, and off we go. I saw the lights flicker when I first turned it on. I have I'm going to move the camera over so you're looking straight down at it maybe. There's the power in, that's the power out. Here's the adjust, and if you look at the voltmeter, I'm showing 24.1. So I'm going to just go to the power adjust and see where we get to here. 27, 28, 28.5 volts. Okay. So it says 28 plus or minus 5%, so that would be like 27.5 to 29, I don't know. But we're definitely well within that. He set his to 28.5, and that's exactly where I'm going on mine. So that takes care of that part. That part is done. The next part, is taking the top cover off of the TS-940. And I already disconnected, excuse me as I reach, I already disconnected my external speaker, and I still have the power on. Actually, I was going to do that for a reason, to determine the direction of fan rotation, but I kind of determined yesterday that this fan on this side here blows out, but it's actually required to blow in for that. So that kind of shoots that theory all to heck, is really determining that. The one on the for the PA board, I can just really look on the schematic and see which side of the fan should get positive and which side should get ground or negative. So like I said, I took the side screws off already, but I haven't done anything else in here. Okay, so the next really big thing before we go is they recommend you connect this, which is the basically the buck converter and the supply board. So I'll need to cut this out of its little house. Alright, so there it is in all of its glory. So, again, there's a video you can watch about how to do this. And I watched the video, and I actually have the video queued up to certain points. So let's just take a look. You have to remove 5 plugs from the current AVR board. I'm going to take care in doing this because I had it on yesterday and it was plugged in, so it may still be charged. The black and red wires for the power amp board, I took those off and just moved them out of the way. I know they're not really needed right this minute, but just move them out of our way, probably to make life easier. So what else did he take off? Alright. I hold the board like this. That's the way it was. So I need to take off. There's a plug down there that comes off. There's a plug right here. I think it was an 8 wires. What do you? Yep. And there's a little 2 wire. Right, one's perpendicular to it. And then there should be another 4 wire. It's on the other side of this ground, I guess, right here. There's the 4 wire. And then there's another 2 wire right here. Alright, so I need those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plugs. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one's back there. Alright, I'm going to try and fish these wires up so I can get to them. So let's see. There's 3 of them. There's 4. And then this guy here looks like goes through a little wire loom, or not a wire loom, but a zip tie, but I think that's going to end up getting cut off anyhow, so got it now to make life easier on myself. You know, while I'm talking, I always use diagonals to do this, these little wires, but I bought a pair of these, and actually I bought several pairs because well, long story, but the ends of them got bent out. And don't buy them from Harbor Freight or anywhere like that, because they won't last unless they sell some really good ones there. These ones are decent ones, but you can still see the ends get beat up on them. So I have another pair around here somewhere that's a pretty good pair that I try not to use unless you know. So let me pull this out if I can get to this. Okay, so that should be the 5 wires that I'm going to need to test this. These 5 here. So let me get something to put down there, and we can put this board in, and then we'll give it a test. Alright, to do my testing, all I did was put a lead into the negative side here, and that should suffice for the ground. So we'll just double check the header pins and zoom up and see if the voltages are correct. Like I said, the LED should come on first. That'll give us indication that the thingy's working. All right, so let's plug it in. All right, and as you can see, all the LEDs came on. So now I should be able to check for my voltages. At 5.9, we'll try 5 first. Put this so that you can see it. So let's see, the first thing should be ground, so we'll get nothing there. Next should be the ready, we don't know, probably 5 or coming back 5. 28 volts here. 23.1, 21 volts here. 23, 21.3, good. 9 volts here. Oop. Perfect. Ground, 5 volts on this guy. Yep. 5 volts on this guy. Yep. Then 5 volts and 5 volts. 1 and 5. So that's pins 5, 9, or connectors 5, 9. Oh, where was it? Apparently it was nowhere on these instructions. Nowhere did it say that. I just made those numbers up. Let's see, testing the board. Okay, 5, 9, 8, and 4. Okay, before we so rudely interrupted, what were we doing? We checked that one, so, oh yeah, I was griping about it, I couldn't find it here. I found it, 5, 9, 8, and 4. Pin 8 should be 9 volts. And pin 4 should be 21 volts. Looks good to me. So now it says setting the buck converter. I don't know if I need to set it. I have 21 volts. The output's 21 volts in the ground bar, so we already checked that. It's good. Set potentiometer. The settings are up top here. Yeah, if you can see it. But like I said, they said it from the factory, and you just saw me check it. Okay, now that that's all done, it says important when you're finished, check the power supply board, remove the jumpers, the power test, and the power switch header. So there'll be these two. So the next thing I'm going to do is put it in, make a couple connections on the board with those 5 things, and this is the, I'll show you when I get up there. I have it in my hand, you probably can't see it, the wiring for the switch, and I'll plug that on as well, so there'll be a 6th connector. At that point, I should be able to fire up the radio with the new converter thing here and the power supply. So let me move things around again and we'll start again. Okay, so we have the power supply converter up top and plugged on the power switch, which it says blue and purple, so blue matches the blue. I pulled off the test connectors, the both of them. So next swing one is a black and red in my hand. That would go on this guy right here. I have a black's closest to me, a black and orange with black being closest to me. And then, let's see, where's this connector at? Here, this connector, and I remember this one has the blank one goes first. Plug that on. This one here tells me the orange goes first. Plug that on. I should have a white. Let's see, I should have another connector here with somewhere. Here it is. The white and orange goes closest to me, and just a plain white goes to the back. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this guy makes 6. Okay. Now, when I turn the power supply, I'm going to need to grab a cord to do that. Actually, I have one over here already. When I turn the power supply on, I don't think you'll see all the lights come on till I energize it. And I hope you're not just watching this hoping to see sparks. But let's see. Let's get this away. Even get my ground wire away from everything. I guess I can pull that off in case I had to test something real quick. All right, here goes. Okay. Converter's on, or the power supply's on, the red light's on. Everything looks good. Fingers crossed, gonna turn the radio on. Everything else lit up good. Make sure that my transmit button wasn't out. Let me connect up the dummy load just for a second. Let's see what we get on power output. Turn that down because it's just a little bit annoying. Put in dummy load. I'm just going to key it up on CW and see that we get around 100 watts somewhere in that area. Power. CW and 3.7. Some kind of a noise there. Now it could be because the power supply is not completely powered up. We look a little further into this. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to get anything out because here's the power supply, or the wires back here for the power amplifier. But I do hear that weird noise. But I only hear it in CW. Not here a little bit in AM. However, the case is not grounded to the chassis yet. So let's take a look if that makes any difference. So that's with grounding the case. Case ground. There's also a chassis ground on this. Again, doesn't change that noise. See something. It's definitely not as bad with the outside antenna. Let's hear how it sounds with no antenna. There's definitely noise in there, but it's very deep. You can hear it very, very deep in there. On CW, can't even hardly hear it on any of the side bands. Nothing on AM. You can hear it on FM. FSK. Nothing. Grab the chassis ground here. That doesn't change it at all. That doesn't change it. Now I know there is a point in the video where he talks about having to run a ground wire from the power supply because it's a floating ground. So we're going to press on and see, take a look, maybe I can find that section real quick before I go anywhere else. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up with that video for now. So it'll be a couple different parts because otherwise you'll fall asleep. The next part's more than likely going to be diagnosing the noise that we heard, and then after that we'll go on with the installation, hopefully, if we can get that noise diagnosed. And then we'll put the battery in and button it all up. But that's it for part one, so thanks for watching.